Hey everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already to the email list on the blog as well as to YouTube. You don't want to miss out on announcements, giveaways. I haven't done a giveaway in a while, probably since last Christmas, so I'll be doing one soon. Alright? So, the way this works, people send in questions to me. First of all, I get back to everybody, and then if I think the question's good and there's value there and it's something that I'm noticing a lot of people are interested in, then I will do a video, just like today's question, right? Today, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn, and they asked, any advice on how a doctor who wants to do clinical research can find a site that might be in need of a PI or a sub-I? So, just off the cuff here, I don't really prepare for these videos at all. I just kind of freestyle it. There's several ways, right? And there's different types of doctors. There's doctors who are just starting out and don't have a private practice established. These are doctors that are looking to be employees, right? Then there are doctors who have a private practice. They're well established, they have lots of patients, they have a busy private practice, and they want to add research to their practice, right? So you have that situation. Very different, two very different situations, two very different types of scenarios. And then you have other doctors who work for busy private practices. They're not employees of the practice, they're partners. So the office that they're using for their private practice is not necessarily theirs, they share it, but they might be interested in research and that practice doesn't have research, because most don't, and they're interested. So you have like a variety, and then you have hybrids of all this too. So I'm going to try to give some, I guess, some general pointers and hopefully point some of you doctors in the right direction. First of all, it's awesome that you want to do research. I think the number one the number one thing that we all can do in the industry to help solve the biggest problem, which is lack of patient recruitment, lack of patient participation in clinical trials, is to actually recruit more doctors, especially the doctors who treat patients, have a busy private practice. We need you guys to want to do research, so it's a very good sign. And I'm not going to get into Medicare, and because that gets into politics, but Medicare doesn't pay what it used to. It's not as easy. I hear from all the doctors I'm surrounded by on a daily basis. So it's only natural that some physicians want to look to clinical research or other avenues to subsidize the income that they used to get from Medicare, and now they're receiving less, or just harder to get that same amount of revenue. They're looking for other revenue streams to build up to their practice. So there are several ways to go about it. What I recommend, first of all, if you're a physician looking to be an employee, let's start with you, all right? You don't have a private practice, maybe you just got out of med school, you're looking to be an employee. I would suggest you go work for a hospital in your area. Usually these hospitals have research departments as well, so you can apply there. And then you could be a doctor for the hospital, and you can also do research. Very simple. You get to learn how research works. However, as I always say on these videos, there's a difference between academic research and industry-sponsored research, but nevertheless, you'll be doing research and you can build up your CV, and then when you do go out and decide to open up your own site, which is where I'm going to next, you'll have much better success because you have more experience on your resume. So sponsors are going to be willing to look at you for studies, right? So that leads us into the next category of physician, those that have their own private practice and are looking to add research to their private practice. So first of all, if you have your own private practice and you have the space in your existing office to do research, I would hire a study coordinator. I wouldn't look at another site. I would hire a study coordinator. And let me back up here. For those of you physicians who have your own private practice, have a busy private practice, and want to bring research to it, there's actually two ways to do it. There's probably more than two, but the two that come to mind right now, there's the aggressive approach, and then there's the more passive approach, right? The aggressive approach would be you go hire an experienced study coordinator, pay them a fair salary, have them do the research for you. Talk to your pharmaceutical liaisons. If you have a busy private practice, you have pharmaceutical sales reps coming at you constantly, all right? Ask all of them, to introduce you to their medical liaison, all right? This is the person at the pharma company that's the liaison between the sales and the R&D, all right? So they have a foot in both the sales departments and in the research and development. You're interested in the research and development, so you want to get introduced to these people, tell them you have a study coordinator, you'd like to get studies, and then get the studies. You can also hire someone like me. My consulting firm can get studies for you. All right, we charge a monthly retainer where we include all kinds of other services, so we're not a study broker. We'll get you studies, we'll negotiate your budgets, we'll help you with your source docs. We're going to send quality assurance people to assign to your site. Essentially, you'll have your own in-house CRAs, your own in-house monitors looking over your trials. So that's the aggressive route, okay? There's also, for those more risk-averse people out there, there is a more passive approach. You can look for other research sites in your area. Okay, I wouldn't go to hospitals in this case. I would want you to stay in the private industry-sponsored trials, because ultimately you're going to want to open your own site anyways, but because you're more risk-averse, you want to take a more conservative approach. So you want to be a sub-investigator for another research clinic. Maybe you have a colleague who does research, maybe you don't. You can start looking on a Craigslist. Believe it or not, Craigslist, research sites advertise on Craigslist all the time for investigators. And you're bringing value to that site because you have a busy private practice. You have lots of potential patients for that research clinic's practice. And you could be, I'll leave this part up to you. You could be up front with that research site, or you don't have to. You can let them know what your ambitions are as to starting your own site, or you don't have to. And I know most people will choose one or the other. That's up to you. Okay, I'm not here to judge. You do what you need to do, get that experience. Once you learn the process, once you learn the business of research, then you can start getting your own studies for yourself at your site. Okay, if your private practice is not big enough, meaning square footage of the clinic, you may need to rent bigger space to accommodate research. But by this point, after a year, maybe 2 years of being a sub-investigator, and actually doing the work, don't just be a sub-investigator on paper and never show up at the research clinic. Now actually go in, see how they run the business, try to figure it out, and then do it yourself. And who knows, maybe that site will want to partner with you. Okay, and then that removes even more risk from your endeavor. But if you're confident enough to do it, then you start your own site. And so that's how I would, if I were a physician, this is how I would get started in clinical research if I was interested in doing that, right? So hopefully this helps you out, right? Let me know if you need more help, or if you need my consulting services, or just have any more other questions, right? Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care. Bye-bye.